Difference in the assists, 13-2, the way Atlanta shared the ball beautifully. Milwaukee, as JB talked about in the first half, long jumper after long jumper. Well, we knew Milwaukee was coming in undermanned. No Andrew Bogut. They were clearly the underdog, but the Atlanta Hawks just took control from the moment this game began, and it began with the pregame pep talk from Mike Woodson.
This is what it's all about, man. We might not ever get this opportunity again. So you got to play lights out.
If this is what it's all about, the Lawrence O'Brien Trophy could be coming to Atlanta. Everybody in the act. Marvin Williams here to the basket. Horford had 3 blocks protecting the paint. There's another one on Stackhouse, and Mike Bibby, beautiful no-look to Josh Smith. It was a layup drill for the Atlanta Hawks. Owned the paint. 4 guys in double figures. 62% shooting, like you said, Dan, and this looked like a preseason game.
The scary thought for Milwaukee is how ugly would this be were it not for Brandon Jennings, who played great in the first half.
Yeah, he showed no signs of being nervous in his first playoff game. Started out the game with a beautiful floater, nice runner, as he got a switch with Joe Johnson, knocked that down. Step back jumpers with Jamal Crawford right in his face. Took the big guy, Horford, step back Jay. Look, this guy has half of the Milwaukee field goals, 16 field goals for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's got 8 of them. He's got 20 points. The team's got 40. Brandon Jennings been the reason why we only have a 22-point game instead of about a 40-point game.
20 of the 40 for Jennings. With an update on to Milwaukee, here's Rick Bucher.
Thank you. Coach Scott Skiles has one ambition in the second half. It's to execute their post defense. He said they've scored 50 points. They scored 50 points in the paint when they played up in Milwaukee. He said they already have 34 at halftime. He simply wants to see them execute what they're supposed to do. Then they'll determine whether they're good enough to actually beat this team. Dan?
All right, Rick, thank you. Salmons, another block. They're going to count it. Ken Bauer says goaltending, so he'll count the basket for Salmons. John Salmons just 4 points in the first half. He averaged over 30 a game in 3 games this year as a Buck against the Hawks. Ball already up in the glass before Horford to make contact, so 6 points now for Salmons.
Well, 20-point game, Dan. It's certainly not over. It certainly did look like a mismatch in the first half, but in the playoffs, 20-point leads are not safe. It can happen.
Salmons comes up with a steal. Atlanta very good at not turning the ball over. That's the 5th turnover for them today. Milwaukee has coughed it up 7 times. Both of these teams generally take good care of the basketball. Switch, and now Smith on Salmons. Good job by Smith to stay down. Doesn't bite on the fake. Shot clock at 3. Off the side of the backboard, and a shot clock violation on the Bucks.
24-second violation. Hawks ball.
These are the numbers. The first 3 are the numbers that Scott Skiles wants, and a big difference here tonight.
Well, this is a guy that averaged 6 points a game in his career versus the Atlanta Hawks. Played 6 times against the Atlanta Hawks this year. 3 with Chicago, 3 with Milwaukee. And he just exploded when he got to the Milwaukee Bucks on this Atlanta Hawks team.
Bibby with the off-balance jumper. Mike Bibby's having a heck of a game.
Well, 5 for 5, taking good shots. You have to credit him a lot for this team. He took a lesser role. Jamal Crawford's come in. Mike Bibby usually the first guy that comes out of the starting lineup. Crawford comes in, doesn't take a lot of shots, runs the show, and he's played very well.
Delfino with a walk. No post presence, as you've talked about. They don't get to the free throw line. And all of this, of course, worse without Andrew Bogut. It's not nearly as bad when Andrew Bogut is in there, but he's not coming back anytime soon. He is done for the year. A long summer of rehab, as he told Rick Bucher earlier. So if the jump shots aren't falling, the offense is going to be tough to find for Milwaukee.
Well, it makes it tough because Atlanta can switch everything. And now they come on to the other end, and it's just a simple dump down. Here you see Carlos Delfino trying to guard Josh Smith. It's just not going to happen.
Tough choices for Scott Skiles. He can put Luc Richard-Mbamute on Smith, but then Delfino has to guard Joe Johnson, who's almost as big and can also take you down to the post.
Well, I take my chances with that because this hasn't worked thus far.
And give the Hawks credit. They're going to keep going there until Milwaukee proves they can stop it. Jennings lighting it up with 23.
If we could just get one guy to get on board with the way Jennings is playing, you might have a shot. Yeah, but defensively is certainly where it's got to happen. And here we go, right back down into Josh Smith. Delfino. You know, Delfino's got to do his work early. Just don't let Josh Smith walk down to the block. If you can get him to post up about 5 feet outside that block, now it gives your defense time to come over and then get back to their own.
Delfino 6'6", Smith 6'9", with all-world athleticism. Johnson. Marvin Williams. Got it.
Joe Johnson with the simple dribble penetration. A buck has to come over to...
There's that floater again. 25 now for Jennings.
We might be looking at a 55er. If he didn't score in the first quarter of his 55-point game, he's well on his way here.
He's got 25. I'm sorry, JB. He's got 14 of Milwaukee's last 16 points. Johnson driving and lays it in. Jennings the kick. Salmons, yes. Give a little credit to Jennings for not forcing shot after shot just because he's got the hot hand.
Well, finally a little offense out of somebody other than Jennings, but it's on this end. That's the problem. And here we go right back into the Josh Smith-Delfino matchup.
Help this time from Kurt Thomas. It stays with Atlanta, 8 to shoot.
Well, you mentioned Mbah a Moute. Why wouldn't you put him on Josh Smith? I mean, I think he could maybe play him one-on-one where you don't force a double team.
And it looks like the Bucks have decided that Joe Johnson is their #1 concern. So Mbah a Moute, who's bigger than Delfino and a very good defender, he's guarding Johnson and played him well enough for Johnson to miss that jump.
Well, you know, Johnson's got 14. He's leading the team in scoring.
Delfino with the other end. Thomas, yes. If you're Scott Skiles, what are you hoping to get out of the second half? Assuming you can't make a huge comeback and win this game, what salvages this game to a certain extent?
Winning the second half. You know, you're down 22 at the half. You don't want to play the score. You have to play the game regardless of what the score is, as Johnson throws up a tough floater. Win the second half. Regardless of what that may be, just prove to yourself, as Josh Smith rejects Jennings, prove to yourself that you can play with this team. And you're not going to get the best out of the Atlanta Hawks. Anytime you're up 20-plus points, you have a tendency to take your foot off the gas, and you're not going to play with the same intensity. And that might well be the case. But don't let this game get to 30. Try to get this game down to 10, 12.
How about block #4 tonight for Josh Smith?
Only guy in the league with 100 steals, 100 blocks. We talked about in the first half. That's a big-time athlete right there, Josh Smith. And credit him, too, with changing his game, playing the right way this season.
Jennings again. 28 for Brandon Jennings.
16-point game, Dano. I mean, this is... if we can get Milwaukee to play a little bit of defense here, Brandon Jennings single-handedly offensive foul.
Good job by Thomas. And Al Horford called for the offensive foul.
That's a great flop there by Kurt Thomas. Because there's no way that Horford could throw him down that violently. You see Horford just coming out to try to catch the basketball. And Kurt Thomas, you know, just Vlade Divac will be proud.
So 5 minutes into the second half, Milwaukee's cut it from 22 down to 16.
Big one.
Couldn't get it from the corner. Here comes Jamal Crawford as Mike Woodson goes to his bench here. Crawford had 9 points off the bench in the first half. Horford not really expecting that pass. Thought Crawford was elevating for a shot.
Dan, I talked about the inconsistencies of the Atlanta Hawks. And I was basically talking about game to game. But we're seeing it right here in the midst of a game. And they're a team that needs spectacular plays to keep their energy level at the level it should be. And right now, Milwaukee's doing a nice job of turning them over, not giving them easy baskets, no dunks. And you see they're getting themselves back in the game because this kid right here is absolutely controlling everything on the offensive end for the Bucks.
30 for Jennings.
Wow.
And a foul on Jennings at this end.